Greetings. This is Skyler Saunders seeing what's current. It shows all about Ricky Rose, the big boss, Rick Ross. He has continued to have his streak of being a factor in the hip hop world and the realm of music and entertainment and spirits as well. I'd like to thank my people because I've made a milestone today. I passed 10,000 views because of the great Mr. Troy Star Terrain, who strapped a battery in my back and said, "Why don't you let them see your face and hear your voice?" And so I'm doing this right now. I appreciate it. I have a goal for today, which is $20. Cash App is $Skyler Saunders 1. PayPal is paypal.me/Skyler Saunders. Now let's get into this. All right, Rick Ross will be continuing his car show despite all the controversy that has surrounded it. He's had, trouble and, or anxiety or beef with Rashawn Casey, otherwise known as DJ Envy, in the past few weeks. But it seems like all of that is behind him. He has new beef now with his neighbors. He tried to hold a car show last year. He didn't have a permit, but he went with it anyway. He didn't get really fined or anything that I know of. But this year he has a permit. He has places where people can park, and he's giving out $300,000 worth of prizes to the best in show and regarding certain criteria for whatever cars are going to be available for the show. Now, Diddy, another boss in the game, is going to be arriving. He was just a few weeks ago. He was at the Promised Land, as Mr. Rose likes to call his property, which sits on 235 acres. That's pretty, astonishing, given that the fact that people in this country were promised 40 acres and a mule. They didn't get that because of President Andrew Johnson, who struck down William Tecumseh Sherman's, I think it was Article 15 or Rule 15, that said that former slaves should get this amount of property and a mule, which would be worth millions, if not billions of dollars nowadays. But didn't happen. So what did the blacks have to do in the future? They sold crack. That was the trade-off. Instead of getting the 40 acres and a mule, you get 40,000 black men or more selling crack cocaine to their own people in their communities or their neighborhoods. That's what Rick Ross did, allegedly. I know for a fact that he was a corrections officer, and I'm gonna say allegedly to everything. I do not sing. I will quote. I will say, "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday." That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to sing it. I'm going to give you your props because I don't celebrate my birthday. I learned that from Mr. Terrain. You don't celebrate your own birthday because you celebrate your birthday every day. Celebrate the fact that you have existence every single day of your life. While you are still above ground, while you're still, even if you're underground in a bunker, you celebrate your life and what you've become, what you've accomplished, what you achieved, not just the fact that you were born on a certain day. But I will respect you and say, happy born day, as Nazir Jones would say. He's gonna be turning 50 this year. Good Lord. It's real. But salute to you, Courtney W. Remember that my goal for today is $20. If you can't handle it, tell 2 other people to watch the show, see what I'm about, see what's popping and shaking and moving, and let them know, I'm serious about mine. Like I said, I just crossed 10,000 views. It's not going to show up on my YouTube, but it shows up on my studio dashboard that I've achieved 10,000 views. Appreciate it, Courtney W. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for your support. Now, like I was saying with Ricky Rose, you know, and he teams up with Diddy. I remember in the early days, of their careers, Ricky Rose and Nicki Minaj. It was like Rick Ross is the new Biggie, and Nicki Minaj is the new Lil Kim. Like it just made sense for people to make those connections. They're very obvious and very directed on the nose. But what Rick Ross was able to do was transcend Biggie, especially in the sense that he lived, that he was smarter than Biggie. He didn't embroil himself in serious beef. He may have had, run-ins. Appreciate that cash app, Courtney W. Thank you very much on your day. I appreciate it. Make sure you tell 2 other people about the show, so it's not just on you, because I appreciate every dollar you have sent to me. Thank you very much for that. Now back to Ricky Rose. Ricky Rose had, the intelligence to say, I'm gonna just make records, and I'm gonna put out these songs. I'm gonna be on the Billboard charts. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna be alive. And then he came close. He came close to touching death. If you don't remember, he was either in the Bentley or the Rolls Royce. He wasn't in the Maybach at the time that he was shot up, and he crashed into the wall. His body wasn't shot up. The car was shot up, allegedly. But he crashed into the wall, and he was able to survive from that. And I think he's smarter now. I think he's sitting on all that property, 235 acres. Are you kidding me? He's got buffalo. He's got bison and horses and all kinds of things. That's another thing that his neighbors are grumbling about. How they're going off and walking in the pastures and all kinds of mess. That's what it's coming down to. It comes down to the point where he has to, fight his, for his crown against his own neighbors. But that is a teaching lesson for us. And that's what part of this episode is about. Topic: Rick Ross and the importance of property rights. There are certain restrictions that he has. For one thing, he can't have lights that are projecting into other people's houses, and it can't go beyond, where they are permitted, beyond 10 o'clock p.m. He has to have certain restrictions on where the parking is. He has certain restrictions on how many people that can attend, allegedly. He's got, I'm taking this all from the source, 11 Alive. I think that's in, I'm going to look that up. 11 Alive. Also, I have coming up for you. Yes, it's in Atlanta, Georgia. 11 Alive. That's where I got my source from. Also, I have a interesting, take on UFOs, or what has become known as unidentified anomalous phenomena. That's what it's come down to. We're calling it unidentified anomalous phenomena. But getting back to Ricky Rose, Rick Ross, he's going to the promised land, promised land, not promised land with the D, without the D. He's been hustling ever since. He's been hustling, recordings, and he's one of the best beat pickers of all time. He has live instrumentation sometimes. I mean, some of his songs with the Justice League are just phenomenal. His work with Lex Luger, he is phenomenal. Wonderful art that he made with him. So Ross is not to be played with. He's definitely a figurehead and a factor in the game. He's someone that has to be, observed. He has to be looked at. He has to be, compensated. He's trying to get that money. And the whole thing with Rashawn Casey, he's about to deflate. He's about to seriously see some time, allegedly. He's about to see some serious, repercussions. But Rick Ross is steaming forward ahead. Rashawn Casey, might have to catch a case. depending on what happens in the future, based on his, alleged misdealings with real estate and fraud. But Rick Ross continues on. I think what's his real name? Anybody say? I'm looking it up right now. I'm gonna say what his name is. It is William Leonard Roberts II. And it's interesting because Meek Mill, he was formerly signed with Rick Ross, is Robert Williams. That's just a coincidence that their names are reversed. But it just takes a lot of gall for Rick Ross to have this car show, because a lot of people are against it. People don't want to see him all those fantastic and decked out vehicles. They don't want to see all the probably the scantily clad ladies or women or females that will frequent the event. It gives me great pleasure to explore this topic, because it's a part of what Ayn Rand said about capitalism. Capitalism is the only moral social system in existence. Only one. And it deals with property rights, and specifically private property rights, as related to individual rights. That's all capitalism is. It deals with private property rights and especially with individual rights. That's just capitalism. That's it. And it goes on further, trading value for value and all the other things that go along with it. She called it the unknown ideal. A lot of people claim that, I know what capitalism is, and they can't say the definition. They don't understand what it truly means. They use it as a dagger or a sword against what it really means. They call people capitalists, like a capitalist pig or something like that. Well, you know what? People have, like Jonathan Honig, who has been able to take that idea and flip it and say, yeah, I'm a capitalist pig. So what? Call me something else. I know what capitalism is. I know it's the only way that human beings can flourish in life. If you have a capitalist ideal, that's the only way. And if Ricky Rose wants to have a car show on his own private property, then he should be able to do that. However, he should not interfere on anyone else's private property as well. He should be able to respect the lives and property of other people. That's what's the most important. That's what should be, shown. That's the proper way of saying it. And for him to be almost 2 decades in the game and still be a factor is a testament to his hustler mentality. He started off saying, every day I'm hustling. And when I heard that song, I was like, you know what? I got to be on my hustle too. I got to be on my grind. And not a lot of people from his era came out and, survived and thrived. The closest one would probably be Lupe Fiasco. And he's doing, talks at MIT and Yale. And salute to him. Salute to that man. For he's putting in a lot of work. But not too many other people came up from that 2006, 2007 era. Rich Boy fell off. So many other people that were already in the game and poised to win, like Joel Santana, who had been in the game probably since 2003, 2004, 2002, and had a chance to really blow up during the 2006, 2007 era. He fizzled out. So you have to respect Ross's hustle. You have to respect the way that he grinds. Because no one else has been able to, eclipse him from that era. No one's been able to dwarf him. Can't dwarf him that big, you know. Some people say he needs a bra, you know. Is it that season? Are we shooting? Is it shooting season? But seriously, no, he Rick Ross deserves it. He put in the work. He's got, he's deep in the game with albums. He doesn't have just one or two. He has at least, I think, 9 or 10 albums in the can, ready and already out in the world. He's definitely a factor. But this car show, it really is going to show us, what it really means by being infatuated by these vehicles. He has a whole fleet. He has classic cars. That's what Rashawn Casey was making the difference between. He's like, oh, we're about new cars. He's got the old classic cars. And you got to respect that too. Those classic cars are, one of a kind. They're not being made anymore. Those models are pristine. He has them pristine. He has them washed off and clean. I was watching a clip of Cardi B. She's going through her garage. She's got Lambos. She's got Range Rovers, collecting dust. Literally collecting dust. She wiped her hand across the side of the car and fizzled, saw the dust to her hands. So she, Rick Ross is serious about this. He wouldn't be putting on this car show if he didn't have the sincerity and the truth behind what it means to be a showman. Because that's what Rick Ross really is. He's a showman. All these years, you thought he was just a rapper. No, he's a showman. He wants to put on a show. And that's what comes, with all the different ways, his wordplay, his imagery, his metaphors. He was crowned 50th best rapper of all time by Billboard magazine. You have to give this man his credit. He was able to achieve that feat. Not too many people can get into that world. There are hundreds of rappers, thousands of rappers, maybe even 1 million worldwide or more. But he was chosen to be at the top or at the bottom of the list, the very bottom, 50. He just made the cut. But that's because of his work ethic. That's because he puts in the work. He puts in the work for being better. My favorite Rick Ross song, I can tell you my favorite album. My favorite album of his is Teflon Don. And my favorite Rick Ross song, maybe the first Maybach Music song. See, he has this is one thing. He's featured on a lot of songs, and he has a lot of features on his songs. But my favorite, I just thought about my favorite track, Mafia Music. That is his defining record. And I'll tell you why. Because he had beef with Rick Ross based on that record, which blew him up. He knew that if he put in the lines about his 50 Cent's mansion burning down, and it's the beef with the girlfriend or the baby mama, or whoever the drama was about, he knew for a fact that he could get in the minds of the populace and say, "Oh, this guy's serious. He's got some. He wants to beef with 50. 50's big. He sold 9 million albums coming out of the gate. He got shot 9 times. God, goddamn, he's not playing." So when 50 came through and said, "I'm gonna make this record," I respected it. I had to respect it because he was all by himself too. 3 verses with bars that were very hard, strong. They were to the point, banging on all cylinders, all pistons running, everything. Everything that he had in him. He had that charisma and that style, that laid back, smoking a cigar with the feet rested on the desk, just, in a boss mode. That's what he had. That's what he is. That's what he had for the whole, world to see and to understand. And he has so many other songs. I made a post about his various songs. He has Maybach music. I think he has 4 Maybach songs. He has Mafia music. I think he has 2 or 3. He has cigar music. He just has all these different elements that he combines together and just say, I'm gonna call this music. And he puts it out there. And like I said, he has some of the best beat selections of all time. I mean, and Courtney W. is mentioning Every Day I'm Hustling. That, I remember, Cat Williams had a comedy special when he was, listening to that song. He's in the he's going through the aisles in the grocery store. Every day I'm, and he's just throwing everything in the cart like I'm hustling. You know what I mean? Just like I hustle so hard I can afford all of this. And he's just going wild. You know, that's special to me. That was a special moment for me, to witness that. He was just going hard in the paint, and I just respect that. It was a fun time. I mean, like, and that's the thing too. He introduced and he reintroduced what Miami was. He said, once you cross that bridge, that's the real Miami. In my yayo, 305. That's the seriousness of his message. That's how serious he was. That's the way he brought it. I want to ask Courtney, am my audio levels okay? Do I sound all right? I have to check on that. Do I sound okay? Courtney W. I'm calling to Courtney W. Calling to Courtney W. Okay, loud and clear. All right, great. All right, so I have some tremendous respect for Ricky Rose. He made something out of nothing. He took in all the allegations. They tried to break him down. Oh, he's a CEO. Oh, he's gonna snitch. He's part of the problem. We're just out here hustling, and he's supposed to be the ultimate hustler, and he's a corrections officer. I think that was from the Smoking Gun. They presented the photographs of him being in the uniform in the correctional officer uniform. And I was just like, you know what? Who cares? That's part of the hustle too. He was getting paid. He used to tar roofs, in the hot summer, in the humid Florida heat in Miami. That's what he used to do. That's what he was part of his grind. And now he's able to sit back. He's pushing 50. He'll be 50 pretty soon. Let me make sure of that. Let me see how, when he turns 50. Because it's coming up soon. Oh, no. He'll be 50 in 2026. He'll be 50 years old. So he's a boss and was a boss 15 years ago, 16 years ago, 17 years ago, when there was ringtones. If anybody out there remembers, there were such things as you could go on your phone, select what ringtone you wanted, and pay like 99 cents or $1.50, $2, and you could listen to that ringtone whenever somebody called you, and it'd be every day I'm hustling, and that was a grind. That's what propelled Soldier Boy. They called it ringtone rap. During that time period, T-Pain was popping. Like the aforementioned Rich Boy was popping. Throw some D's on it, and it just came through and blew up the scene. And now we completely switched. I haven't heard a ringtone in months or years. Nobody uses ringtones anymore that I know of. I can't attest to hearing any ringtone rap or any ringtone whatsoever. I mean, it gets to a point where you have to say Rick Ross could see, that there were avenues that were outside of even rap, that were combined within the rap sphere, but were outside of the music, like Bel Air liquor. He has a liquor line with the Bel Air label. He's got his lemon pepper wing stop. He's a proponent. He was in the commercials for the wing stop. He said, "Now we're doing thighs." You know, that's part of the hustle. That's part of the grizzly. That's part of the grind. He's out here. But it all comes down to property rights. It goes into that. The property rights to Bel Air, the property rights to Wingstop, the property rights to all his vehicles. He has ownership in these companies, in these different items, these different units. That's the power of property rights. And in Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal, Ayn Rand explains about the difference between, the airwaves at that time during the 60s and 70s. During the 60s, she was talking about the airwaves, radio and television, and how, who owns what and what you can say and what you can't say and how you do this. But now, we have this internet thing, the most beautiful, I don't know if it's an innovation or an invention or the most, profound idea ever thought of. See you later, Mr. Saunders. Gonna get some cake. Enjoy your night. Thank you very much for being here, Courtney W. And thank you for your Cash App. Enjoy the rest of your born day. And I appreciate everything you do. I seriously do. I appreciate it. Enjoy your cake, enjoy your ice cream, enjoy all your gifts. Hope you have some birthday sex. you know, I appreciate you. Tell two people about this show. That's all I ask. You've already given what you could, so I appreciate it. Thank you. So that Rick Ross is definitely one of the pioneers within this digital age. He started off with ringtone rap and wound up with deals with Bel Air liquor. And I don't think he has a deal with Maybach or Mercedes, but he should. If he were smarter or the smartest, he would finagle some way to get him a percentage of the Maybach sales, even though there's like six. There's only like 600 in the world, I think, or something like that. They only made like 200 or 250 Maybach vehicles. So it's a very low amount of people that are going to be driving them. But he should have some way of displaying what it means to be a hustler and a boss. And that's what I think this car show is going to do. And if he keeps up the tradition, it's going to be even better for him. So I definitely appreciate, people like Courtney W. who stopped by. We had a brief interchange, and I wanted to say that, and I'm just going to take a short break. I'll be right back. Back in the building. All right, now we have a totally different topic. UFOs or UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomena. Now, what is this about? What do we have here? It's from the BBC, and it's talking about NASA And one that is truly fascinating, it says, if you were hoping that there would be some concrete proof that alien exists, we didn't get it today. But we learned a lot about the sheer scale of what scientists are doing as they monitor from potential unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs, and in their search to find life beyond Earth. Now I have to ask you, do you believe in UAPs? Now this is a new term. It's a completely different term. Unidentified anomalous phenomena. Now you have people like the great Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who says, it's cute to say that there's, these UAPs or UFOs in classic, stature, but it's not real. It's not true, because it would take a whole lot of long time for these different people or spaces or some of the people to continue through our atmosphere. It would take them light years, which is very, long distances, long distances, light years away. They're, whole beyond miles away, light years away. And that's no joke. That's the amount of time that light travels in a year. So it would take a whole long time for them to get here. And if they're going to get here, they have to show us what they're about. Who are they? What do they want? But we're not even at that point. We should be able to discover who we are first. We should be on this planet to say we are traitors. We are people that are of ourselves. We are of the now, the new, the unfamiliar. We should be able to take our notes and apply them to what we have as people going into the future. We have to have a system in order to say this is real and this is not real. This is fact, this is fiction. And it's complete fiction for UAPs. Sorry to break it to you. It sounds cute. You say, "Oh, but the Navy shows you, and you can see the footage." It doesn't. It's just like the balloon from January. If anybody remembers, the Chinese balloon floating over the air. That's what they say. It's even in Men in Black. Oh, it's just a weather balloon. Don't even worry about it. Before they do the phaser thingy, and they zap the memories away. That's one of the things that happens. That's what we're so concerned with. We're so up and on. So, oh my gosh, quote unquote UFOs, but now it's UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena. Now it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. This is actually happening. No, it's not actually happening. There it is. Just like there's no God, there's no evidence of unidentified anomalous phenomena. You can find so many things flying in the sky. There's a reason for it. Could be space debris. Could be a meteor. So many different things that could be it, but it's not it. Sorry to break it to you. I'm sorry, but not sorry to say that these are real issues that have to be explored, but don't have to be said are fact, because they're not real. And it's the irony. Here's the irony. Actual footage of men walking on the moon and in vehicles on the moon, playing golf on the moon. People say, "Oh no, that's not real. That's fake. Oh, they made that up in a Hollywood studio." Okay, so we take all of these elements and we put them together into a Hollywood studio, and you have to act out everything and do this and do that. Which one is easier, going to the moon or doing that? I ask you. I'm going to tell you, going to the moon is a lot easier, because it's the facts, it's the truth. Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon. And Buzz Aldrin was the second. Michael Collins stayed in the car, as he should. He played a pivotal role in that, and I respect him for that. He just passed away not too long ago. But that's the irony. It's the ironic thing where people will deny, so many different phenomena that are real and things that are true, and then point, to, oh, look, I look up in the sky and I just saw that. That must have been an unidentified anomalous phenomena, a UAP. That's what's so scary. That's the era we live in, where people are so enamored and so fascinated by conspiracisms, because there's a difference. A conspiracy theory has an element of truth, or could have the element of truth. A conspiracism is something that's completely false, but people continue with it and act like it's true. That's the problem. That's what makes it an issue for scientists to be true, because it's a quiet thing to be a scientist. There are very few, like I aforementioned, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Michio Kaku, and so a few others, Bill Nye, a few, Dean Kamen, kind of, somewhat sort of. Mostly though, scientists just are in their labs. They're writing papers. They don't have time to be like an entertainer or in the sphere of disseminating information. The late great Carl Sagan, he wanted to make sure people understood about the cosmos. That was his calling for himself, not by God. I'm saying not that kind of calling, but that was his proper role for what he wanted to do in life. But there are few and far between those scientists that speak up and say, look, we have a problem. It can be solved very easily. We can say that there are no UAPs floating around in the sky. Or if there are APs, we can identify them. They can be identified. We can say what they are. That's how powerful this is. That's what the might and power behind what we do is. We're not all scientists, but we can be scientific. Quote me on that. I'm about to trademark that. We're not all scientists, but we can be scientific. We can apply the scientific method to our lives. The smell test. That's what is so important. If it doesn't look right, if it doesn't seem right, we should discard it. Completely discard it. Completely throw it out. Throw it away. Let it be something that's, continued on all by itself. That's what is so important for us to understand and see. You got Ricky Rose down here on Earth, with his car show, but there's people looking up to the heavens and they see something across the sky and they're like, oh, there's got to be a UFO. Unidentified anomalous phenomena. UAP. It's anomalous phenomena. That's what it is. And it can be identified. I mean, you have so many movies, so many novels, so many short stories. It's discussing and diving into the ideas of having a interstellar, that's even a movie, or intergalactic experience. Independence Day, Men in Black. That's just two Will Smith movies. Smack you for if you haven't watched those movies. I might Will Smith slap you. If you haven't seen those movies, great special effects in Independence Day, greater ideas in Men in Black. One of the best things I learned from Men in Black was that the person is intelligent and smart. People are stupid. There's a degree of of honesty and truth to that. because the individual is the sole unit of a group. There cannot be a group without the individual. So you have people that channel their ideas. They put their ideas on what is not real. They put on what is fake. They put on what is not the truth. They go through their days hoping and wishing that they will be able to understand what it is to be an alien or a space person or something like that. And then they have the gall, the freaking gall to say things like, oh, the pyramids were made by space people. First of all, the pyramids were not made by space people. They were made by actual human slaves. And they shouldn't be regarded as such. They shouldn't be regarded with such, fascination. Skyscrapers, from the 20th century and on, they should be regarded, not the pyramids. Forget the pyramids. But people want to say they're made by aliens. That's a direct, way of saying, allegedly, black people aren't smart enough to make the pyramids. They couldn't do it. They couldn't get the Jewish slaves to do their work. And that's how evil that was. For the Egyptians to put the Jews to work without pay and to slave under the hot African sun all those years that it took for those pyramids to be erected. But aliens, UFOs, we could talk about it all day. There's none. There may never be any, because the closest we always talk about, well, this moon has this amount of water vapor that could kind of possibly had life 10,000 years ago. We say all that's cute. That's all cute. That all makes sense to a point. But we have to remember, if we're going to have people that are of our level of intelligence, if there's going to be aliens that are going to be here and float by and know what is going on and what we're doing, it's going to take millennia, more than that, probably millions of years, billions of years, maybe in 1 trillion years. But we're not going to even exist in 1 trillion years, so it's nothing even to worry about. This solar system isn't even going to exist in 1 trillion years. In a few billion years, the sun is going to do a supernova and become a white giant and then become a red dwarf. And everything around it, all these planets will be destroyed. But I'm thinking way, way ahead in the future. This is billions of years, long time from now. But we have to take everything into perspective. We have to take it into a sense that the aliens, the people that are spaced it out, all the people that are out, all the space people, we have to be able to tell ourselves that there are no aliens, and there probably will never be aliens, because we can't see the closest Earth-like planet that's in the Goldilocks zone, or the zone that's, not too hot, not too cold, just right, like Earth. Earth is the only planet so far that we can understand with life. Only one. We're so individuals. It's like we are the selfish planet. No one's like us. We are completely unique. We have so much flora and fauna. We have human beings. None of the other planets have that. They're either big balls of gas like Jupiter, or big rocks like Mars. And there's no evidence of aliens on any of the planets in the solar system, especially. But even beyond that, there's no evidence of aliens even beyond our solar system. None. And scientists, there are people that are devoted to it. Some of them are not as serious, and they get the Ig Nobel awards. Ig Nobel awards are just like a play on words, like Ig Nobel and Ig Nobel, because of the Nobel Prizes, which are serious and very prestigious, allegedly, because they don't get everything right. If Yasser Arafat can get a Nobel Prize, then that's a problem. If Henry Kissinger can get a Nobel Prize, that's a problem. But let me not stray too far away from my point. So they need to get Ig Nobels because their work to try to find, artificial life or intelligent life beyond this planet is a fool's errand. It's a complete fool's errand. It's a complete way of not looking at the facts, looking at truth, looking at reality, looking at what is possible to us, looking at what is true. That's where we are right now. That's how we have to be. We have to discuss the fact that we have to put people in positions of hierarchies. Put at the top the scientists that say there are no aliens. Put at the bottom that says the guy that was in the cornfield and got fondled by an alien and got sucked up into the mothership. Put him way at the bottom, way down low on the hierarchy. Put the scientist who says it will be light years away, a long, long distance before anyone was to even visit us. If they were to visit us, it would be in a completely different context. They wouldn't be able to communicate with us, and it would be like in so many other movies and television shows and novels and short stories. They'd have to have a translator. They'd have to have, could they be? I give it the Spielberg test. Spielberg came out with, two very famous and very profitable movies in the 70s and 80s, Close Encounters with the Third Kind and E.T. Extraterrestrial. Made hundreds of millions of dollars. And adjusted for inflation, made, tens of millions of dollars back then, but, hundreds of millions of dollars today. And he later on in his career directed War of the Worlds, which is based on the H.G. Wells novel and story. So it's going to be a toss-up. It's going to be, what else? Is it going to be Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T., or is it going to be War of the Worlds? It's the Spielberg effect. What are we going to do about that? What are we going to say, is going to be the truth? What's going to happen in the future? And like I said, our lifespans right now, I may live to be 80 or 90, and it's still not going to happen. I may live to 100. I may live to 120, depending on whatever circumstances happen. But I can affirm and assure you of this. There will not be any identified anomalous phenomena from an outer space perspective. It'll be a weather balloon. It'll be a piece of space debris. It'll be something like that. But it's not going to be anything close to being an alien or some kind of bit of artificial or advanced intelligence. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in my lifetime or anybody's lifetime. I say that for a fact. There's not going to be any aliens whatsoever, ever. Whatsoever, ever. Forever, ever, forever, ever, forever, ever. I mean that. This earth is what we should be prizing. We should be discussing how we can have better relations with ourselves than contending with what should happen with outer space creatures or phenomena that visit the earth. We should be discussing how to better treat each other, how to be traitors, how to be selfish, how to be capitalists, how to be, how to be reason, how we have to have reason, purpose, and self-esteem. That's what we have to have. We have to include that in our own positions and what we're doing. We have to have that sensibility We have to have that thought process, because that's the only thing that's going to sustain us. That's the only thing that's going to keep us as human beings, is to treat each other as traitors. We have so many wars. Wars in Ukraine, wars in Sudan, wars all over the place, train derailments, terrorist attacks. It goes on and on and on and on. Either it's malicious, acts or acts of nature, or just failures of human or human errors. We need to better understand those things before we can understand or try to understand outer space beings and things that will be visiting us. That's one of the things that we have to contend with. But we have to meet each other as traitors, not as brothers and sisters. That's cute, but as traitors. That's real. As people that will understand and try to make a better world for our own lives, our own selfish lives. That's what we have to do as human beings. That's the great irony. We're so consumed. We're so readily. I mean, like I said, TV shows, movies, even probably like a lot of these movies about space aliens and everything. But the fact is that there are none, and there never will be. Ever. It's a fact. It's a truth. Something that we should regard as horsepucky. It's not real. It's not the truth. But we are the truth. We exist. We're smart. I'm a dumb community college dropout. But I know for a fact that there's no space aliens coming to me anytime soon. That's a fact. And that's what people, I think, maybe I'll give them a shred of credit. They're thinking, well, if aliens were to come here, then we would band together like Independence Day or something, and try to fight them off. And that'll show us that we can actually fight together. Still wouldn't. People have fought and stopped fighting and fought again before, like the British. 1776, they're like, we got Spain and France to deal with. War of 1812, well, we're gonna burn down your White House. That it just, we're human beings. We're not perfect, but we can be morally perfect. You can be morally perfect. You have ethics that are pristine and not worry about it. Be the change you want to see in your life. I just chopped up and messed up a phrase attributed to, it may not be him, but Mahatma Gandhi, Mohandas Gandhi. Be the change you want to see in life. That's all I'm doing. That's what I'm doing this show. I'm just a tiny little fleck in the ocean, but I'm a fleck that emits enough light surrounding me, just enough, until I get to a point I am that beacon that shines a light on the world. I'm going to continue to strive and hustle. I'm going to continue to put in the work. Every day I'm hustling, just like Rick Ross. That's what I'm doing. Every day I'm hustling. Ricky Rose. Huh. And I would like a lady to say Maybach music, It's sexy to me. That's a beautiful thing. See that. And it just keeps me going. So I want to try to wrap up around this point. You have so many people that are rushing to think about what it truly means to be a human being. What does it mean to be a person? What kind of person do you want to be? What do you wish to see in your life? Not what the aliens are going to think of us, not what the space people think, if there were. There aren't. Don't get too, wrapped up in it. Because it's not true. It's just a non-fact. It's a fallacy. It's something that people, dish over and talk about and probably have like studies. There may be actual scientists with PhD or PhDs. How many PhDs they may have. They may say, I don't really see this as happening. I don't see this as a real problem. I don't see this as true. I don't think this is the fact, But I know there's space aliens. They'll say everything else is a fallacy, but say there's real aliens. These are PhDs from Harvard, Yale, Brown, Columbia, Cornell, University of Pennsylvania. Did I get them all? I think I got them all. Yeah. If I don't get them all, put them in the comment section. I was naming all the Ivy League schools. Princeton. Almost forgot. Princeton. That's right. So I think I got them all in. All right, but there's a whole litany of people that are just waiting. Like the woman in Independence Day, she's bated breath. She's waiting, and it comes to the alien. I'm spoiling everything for you right now, but the alien comes through and destroys the Empire State Building. Now, this is what I think is interesting. When people say things like September 11th was unimaginable, no, it was pretty imaginable. Pretty imaginable. If you look at just a few shows, even from King Kong, it's destruction of or the terrorizing or the invasion of New York City, from King Kong to Independence Day and so many in between. It was very, very, people call, September 11th a bad Michael Bay movie. He's one of my favorite directors, but they say, he's a bad director anyway. But I disregard that. I kind of like his movies. You can see he was evil, who's not evil. Very simple and basic, but at least you have that. Some people want to have greatness. You want to have more ambiguity. There shouldn't be. He's not the best director, but he's one of them because he gives you this sense that, all right, these are the good guys and these are the bad guys, and I can understand that. That's pretty clear. No grayness. Very simplistic in a sense, but at least he has that sensibility. But I just want to, wrap up here and give you a few, housekeeping things. I'm going to be, trying to get as many shows out. I'm going to be going to Florida in a few weeks. I'm going to be, enjoying my life, enjoying my time. I'm trying to do shows down there, away from Delaware. I'm always going to represent Delaware, but I'm, branching out. My born day is coming up. I'm going to probably do a show on my born day. Ain't nothing, new. Just today is my born day. I mean, every day is special. To me, my existence is so wonderful and great that I have to express that to myself every single day, not just one day. So I want to thank you for rolling with me. Check out, Rick Ross's car show. Learn more about unidentified anomalous phenomena, and I will see you on Monday. Thank you very much. Take care.